Do you remember how you got into anime? Was it through a channel like Adult Swim or Toonami? Maybe through a streaming service? But if you ask Arabs who grew up in the early 2000s how they discovered anime, most of them will give you the same answer.
قناة شباب المستقبل.
A children's entertainment TV channel that aired Western cartoons like the Batman animated series, alongside Japanese animes like Detective Conan. But Spacetoon wasn't just a kids channel. It was an entire world split into planets, each one dedicated to a specific genre. And for an entire generation, it became their gateway to anime. So let's rewind a bit and talk about how Spacetoon came to be. Before Spacetoon was a channel, it started off as a free-to-air programming block. It started airing on Bahrain TV on March 15th, 2000. And from the beginning, it differentiated itself from other children's entertainment. Instead of random scheduling, it grouped shows into planets, each one representing a different genre. As viewers, we weren't just watching shows. We were being shown a door to the planet we were about to embark to. There were 10 planets to visit: Abjad, Action, Adventure, Bonbon, Comedy, History, Movies, Science, Sports, and Zamarrada, which just means emerald, and it was the girls-only planet. This theme carried over into everything. Bumpers like, "We'll be right back,"
سنعود بعد قليل.
and even the daily scheduling, where shows were framed with borders indicating which planet they belonged to. Commercials were limited and sometimes completely absent, so when a show went on a break, it wasn't really a break. It was more activities, more world building, more time spent inside Spacetoon, and when the show ended, it was time to leave the planet.
انطلق.
Spacetoon's contract with Bahrain TV ended on January 12, 2002. During this period, it continued broadcasting, but it clearly was aiming for something bigger. So Spacetoon left Bahrain and relocated its headquarters to Dubai, signaling the shift from a programming block to an independent channel. And this is where the planet concept evolved. Before, you entered through a door. Now, you travel to an entire planet, turning every show into a small space adventure, adding excitement and hype before the show even started. The bumpers were still planet-based, still familiar, and just like before, you left the planet when the show ended. The channel was on the air from 9 AM to 9 PM, and one of my earliest memories of watching Spacetoon is being awake at 2 AM alone, just wanting to watch cartoons. But instead, I'd be met with this. It was unsettling, repetitive, and strangely mesmerizing. The visuals were impressive for the time, but what really tied everything together was the audio, the dubbing, the music, the tone. All of it flowed together as one experience. Dubbing anime was not an easy venture in the 90s and the early 2000s, though there were already some Western cartoons and occasionally anime that were actually already dubbed in Arabic from the get-go, so the channel could just buy and air. They relied on different dubbing companies located around the Middle East, but they primarily relied on the efforts of the Syrian dubbing studio Venus Center, and their work has been iconic. The Middle East is a region with differing dialects. To ensure that anybody would be able to watch the channel, it was all dubbed in modern standard Arabic, or Fusha. One of their major dubs was for the anime Detective Conan. There is another one, but we will touch on that one later. Detective Conan was such a hit that they were able to create a small live program where Conan would get calls from live viewers and talk to them.
جيدا. ألو.
ألو.
من يتكلم؟
موسى إبراهيم.
موسى إبراهيم، أنت من البحرين أليس كذلك؟
أجل.
أهلا وسهلا بك يا موسى.
Which just goes to show the first VTuber came from the Middle East. You would think Venus Center's work stops there, but I haven't gotten to the greatest part yet, the music. This was the cherry on top when it came to the channel, the creme de la creme. Each of the planets we talked about have their own theme songs. That reflects the vibe of the visuals. The shows themselves did not have their original theme songs play. Venus Center created their own. Which shows the level of dedication the studio has. I also had the privilege of meeting the main composer of the music on Spacetoon while making a video interviewing cosplayers at a convention. To this day, this man does live performances of the show's themes he's composed because he knows they have made something memorable, something that shaped childhoods. Which is why sometimes you'll have people that visit their favorite childhood shows as adults, and the shows seem vastly different from what they watched when they were younger. Why is that? Censorship is common practice when bringing shows to the Middle East, and anime was no exception. But Spacetoon mixes censorship with a localization. Case in point, Captain Majid. Western audiences and Japan know him by a different name, Captain Tsubasa. But it wasn't just a case of changing the theme song. In Japan, Tsubasa was built on rivalry, pressure, obsession, and the weight of the competition. Things were intense.
この南葛市で暮らすことになったんだ。
お前もこのチームの一員ならみんなによーく言い聞かせて教えてやるんだな。今年の全国大会優勝はこの日向小次郎率いる明和 FC だということをな。運が良けりゃ全国大会で会おうぜ。潔、あばよ。
While Majid emphasized teamwork, unity, perseverance, and growth through hard work.
أجل، سأبقى لفترة في مدينة المجد فأنا لاعب من الفريق أيضا.
يجب أن تدربهم على لعبة كرة القدم كما يتدربون على الرياضيات. ومع هذا يفوز فريقنا. البطولة الوطنية ستكون من نصيبنا نحن. إذا حالفك الحظ سنتقابل ثانية في البطولة الوطنية. وداعا.
They didn't just dub it, they adapted it for the region, creating an alternate canon for the Arab world. The closest Western comparison to this would be like how Power Rangers adapted the action scenes from Super Sentai into their own. And this wasn't limited to just one show. Bringing back Detective Conan, the core plot was still the same, but the names were also localized into something Arabic friendly. The crimes themselves were softened, reducing the references to alcohol and other adult things, and the tone was more educational rather than dark. These changes weren't random, they were meant to align the stories with cultural values and younger audiences, which is why whenever you have Arabs revisiting these shows, they don't quite feel the same. Reminiscing over Spacetoon and all the wonderful memories it has given us leaves me with a single question: what have they been doing to the present day? The golden age of Spacetoon is considered to be between 2002 to 2009, when they became an independent channel, with the full creative control we talked about. In this period, there was no Crunchyroll. Internet speeds were still weak. Hell, I still remember using the prepaid internet cards in the early to mid 2000s. But Spacetoon was also able to expand into different channels for other languages later on. English, India, Korea, Ukraine, Turkey, and Indonesia, who had surprisingly a mix of different channels. And if you were wondering, the channels were also dubbed in those languages. The visuals and audio has also gotten updates to modernize it. And I mean, just listen to this end of broadcast that they were using in 2013. And they also made a streaming service called Spacetoon Go, which shows they are keeping up with the times, with no signs of slowing down. With how the world is evolving with technology, the amount of competitors increasing, studios are stricter with how much a show can differ from the original source material. It was obvious that these kinds of experiences would lessen. Also, the internet has made so many things accessible that there isn't really any reason to watch stuff on the TV anymore. But that's fine, as sad as that may be. But this wasn't just a channel, it was an experience. Flying to your favorite planet, singing the theme along the way, to the moment you leave it. They made sure to keep you entertained, and we should be glad it's a core memory for a lot out there. In a region divided by borders and dialects, Spacetoon gave us one language, one soundtrack, one childhood. And hey, maybe one day you can make this a core memory for your children too. And that's the end of the video. I know it's different from what I'm usually uploading. I may be a video game commentary channel, but I am also from Kuwait. I wanted to share something from my childhood. If you enjoyed this video, why not like, subscribe, join my Discord server, and tell me in the comment section below, what was your gateway to anime? And if you didn't enjoy this video, hey, I'm not gonna tell you not to dislike it, you can go right ahead. And I hope to see you here next time. See ya.